Now the second industrial revolution is sort of in the second half and into the second half of the 19th century into the beginning of the 20th. So some of the second half of the second industrial revolution will feature a couple key new inventions. Steel is one. Chemicals, plastic, for example, will be produced as part of this. And communication changes like the radio. Let's talk first about the steel. The Bessemer process will result. The Bessemer process is Bessemer is this inventor that comes up with this process to create this thick form of building material known as steel. And basically, he's able to smelt down. Well, I forget exactly. Can someone explain? I'm forgetting.
Iron and something else.
Yes.
Carbon.
Okay. So we inject carbon into iron, and then we create this stronger form of thing, steel. Steel, of course, will allow for skyscrapers to be built, allow for larger bridges and larger buildings to be constructed. And so steel will replace iron as the key industrial indicator. Right? Steel will be the things that will be produced. Marconi in Italy will invent the radio. The radio, as well as, I don't include this here, but film in the early 20th century will be key in communication. And of course, both of those, radio and film, will be used by early 20th century leaders to communicate their ideas, not always good ideas. And so both radio and film will be tools of political propaganda, but they will also be cultural tools. They will also spread sort of a popular culture, music, and fashion that will now be seen over wider areas, seen or heard over wider areas. Light bulbs and telephones are also inventions that are made in the late 1800s, and of course have profound effects on cities and city living. The internal combustion engine will use oil, and so one of the key developments of the second industrial revolution is the use of oil, not coal and steam engines, but in addition to coal and steam engines, oil internal combustion engines will be used. And the oil internal combustion engine will be used in cars as well as airplanes. And it's pretty phenomenal how rapidly that happens. The internal combustion engine put in a car, put in an airplane, and voila, you have, fundamentally different society. Yeah.
Is that like a factor of imperialism, how they want to get oil?
Yeah, I mean resources. That does become an issue with Middle Eastern imperialism when oil is discovered there. Yeah.
Was oil used for much before now?
No. Oil is not used for much before the Second Industrial Revolution. And in fact, a lot of oil before that came from whales, right? And seals and other blubber forms.
Oh, you mean whales. I thought you meant whales in the
Yeah.
I meant whales as in large.
In East Germany somewhere. I was like, what is seals? Small countries.
Yes.
So they did have oil like before, they didn't know how or what to use it for?
Yeah, it just wasn't, it wasn't used.
They weren't like mining
But it requires a chemical process to turn oil into gasoline that can be really used anyway. Right, this refinery process to refine the stuff. So, this is all, it's technological breakthroughs, new knowledge, the harnessing of this energy, the use of this source of energy to power this motor, putting that motor on things that can fly or move. I mean, it sort of is all happening quite rapidly. And so, yeah, the chemical industry, we mentioned plastics. rubber, synthetic rubber, and
Well, first I was wondering if you have one of those like little paper recycling things.
yes, behind my desk.
Am I allowed to walk over?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the second thing?
Bye.
Oh. Yeah.
When you say chemical industry, do you mean like, I don't know if that means like medicine or like, I don't know, because like, I don't know what it applies to.
Well, I mean, basically all sorts of scientists will be experimenting with different concoctions to try to create things, like plastic. Or,
Bombs and stuff.
well, chemicals will be used in bombs. Chemicals will be used in bombs, of course, like, or chemical weapons, right, during World War I,
Like,
right? So methane or gas, gas weapons,
gas bombs.
exactly.
Is that happening now? Or is that happening later?
That's happening right now because then it's used in World War I right away, right? So we did mention, I did say synthetic rubber, which once again, just to remember, has an important effect for contraception and the use of birth control.
Awkward silence.
20th century military technology.
Okay.
20th century military technology. The machine gun, obviously you can kill a lot more people a lot more quickly. The other major, better sniper technology is also developed. The machine gun and these sniper rifles, these are mass produced in these factories, so you have a large amount of them. What else? Poison gas, as we noted, from the chemical industry. Submarines, you can put one of these internal combustion engines underwater in this underwater boat. Yes?
What are those things called that they would use down in the trenches where they can look out over the trench?
Like a periscope of some sort?
Yeah.
Like a reflecting mirror?
Yeah.
Tanks would be invented amidst the World War I. Radar, I wrote sonar there, but I think the term I'm looking for is radar. The radar is developed during World War II to trace airplanes. And therefore is very key in stopping the Luftwaffe during the Battle of Britain, and stopping the German Air Force. And finally, of course, the atomic weapon will, of course, completely transform warfare, which had already been transformed by all this industrial technology already, it will allow the destruction of a city immediately. I mean, what is the effect of this 20th century military technology? The effect of the machine gun and sniper rifles is trench warfare. The effect of airplanes and tanks is blitzkrieg, quick warfare. You bomb the heck out of whatever you're attacking and then move through very quickly. And before you know it, before the French know it, the Germans are behind them. What is another effect of the airplane? You can bomb civilian targets. You can bomb the factories and the railroad connections and therefore cut off these armies from their sources of weapons. And so this weapon wars during the 20th century are industrial wars that rely on industrial production so that you have the guns and the bullets and the whatever to kill your enemy. And so if you can cut off the production of those things, if you can cut off the production of airplanes and weapons and these other items and disable rail connections, then you can defeat your enemy. And of course there's also this idea in World War II that if you can demoralize your enemy, they'll quit. So the airplane allows you to drop as many bombs as you want, and they do, right? They firebomb cities, or carpet bomb cities, which means they drop bombs to try to cover it completely. Firebombing these cities, they're dropping large amounts of gas and other explosive devices in addition to bombs, which will just create an inferno that will, destroy the city and kill tens of thousands of people. And as we noted, more people die in the Tokyo firebombing by the United States than in the atomic weapons that are dropped on Hiroshima. and Nagasaki.